50% of the juvenile there are Muslims. So you would have maybe the Somalis, most of them, and then some Arabs, and then some Pakistanis. And you go to more predominantly Pakistani cities, then you'll have 50% Pakistanis. But we don't have to be in there. That's the point. So we inshallah will deal with that. And we need to actually make a change. That Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala will not change the condition of the people until they change their own condition. And we keep quoting that verse all the time in the Jum'ah, everywhere. But what is the meaning of change itself? Change means to alter. That you alter something, that there's an alteration of thought process. And you become different. Your circumstances become different. So you don't just change out of the blue, you try to change for the betterment. Try to change for the betterment. So today we want to change. It's a metamorphosis. So your plight has to have a metamorphosis. So you have this plight that is depressed, dejected, depressed. What do you do to that? So if it's depressed, you need to get out of that and start flying. So when your plight is actually one of depression, and one of waywardness and backwardness, then you need to actually change that. So there needs to be a metamorphosis, you need to change that. You need to actually shape and modify where you're going. Because this is what you have to do. How do I become a good Muslim? I don't know. But I would like to be a good Muslim. What does it mean to be a good Muslim? I don't know. Well, you can't do anything without the book of Allah Ta'ala. You cannot do anything without it. You cannot do anything without the sunnah of the Messenger of Allah Sallallahu. So how about that's a good place to start? That's a good place to start. We're looking at self-help books. This book, that book, I don't know, whatever. There's no problem in reading books. We even in our stall we have books that are some non-Muslims have written. So we want to know what they have to say. It's a good thing. But at the same time, if we cannot solve our problems in getting to the book of Allah, then there's no solving. There's no solving. So we're just talking empty. One of the brothers said, inshallah you don't know who he is, well, I want to get married. I have this girl that I know, what should I do? I said, get married. But I want to wait a while. Should I have any contact with her? I said, well, have no contact because you're going to fall into haram. What should I do? You have to get married. Oh, that's difficult for me. But you want to have contact at the same time. The reason why I'm giving you that example, and there's many examples like that, because we want to talk the talk but never walk the walk. It's very easy to talk, I'm Muslim, and it doesn't fit the role. So what we have to do is change our state and reform. How do you reform the heart? How do you reform the self? How do you actually reform? Is by doing the right thing. You keep falling, you get up and do the right thing. You keep falling, you get up and do the right thing. This is the only way we're going to go ahead. By kindness to the brothers, by helping each other, by doing these right things. We discussed so many attributes of taqwa. We discussed Imam Ali radiyallahu anhu today. How many points? How many points were there that we discussed? Who was here this morning?
40.
Okay. Close to 40? There's more than that. I just split it up. That's my point. But at the same time, that's what we need to do. Check. We need to check ourselves. Points. Those points were great. People of taqwa, I think we should have had it today. Here. So many people are here. Taqwa. How to inculcate it. Not just wear it. It's nice to wear it. But how to live it. How to actually inculcate it into your system. So we need to replace our old model that we have. We need to replace the Ford with the Toyota. Ford is a junk. If you actually go backwards, Muslims are always buying Ford. What's wrong with you? Why do you have to just boycott it? As the car is no good. Same with the Chevrolet. It's no good. If we just even boycott just that, we'll make our statement. Buy a Toyota. If you have 50, you'll buy a Toyota. They're meant to break. You know, Ford, it says, found on the road dead. So I asked one of the guys who were actually towing the car, I said, do you always see a Chrysler? Because my friend's Ford was broken down. I said, do you see a Chrysler and Ford always broken? He said, said, yes. I said, how about this? I told him, found on the road dead. He said, look, if you spell it, if you go backwards, meaning you spell Ford backwards, he said, driver returns on foot. And the Muslims are. I just bought a Ford. Oh, there goes another sucker. So we need to exchange and replace the status quo, transform, inshallah. We should become conscious of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Look at what the Messenger of Allah sallallahu alayhi wa sallam, he said, أَسْأَلُكَ خَشْيَتِكَ فِي الْغَيْبِ وَالشَّهَادَةِ. Just this thing, you don't even have to go further than that. That, oh Allah, I ask you of your khushu', I ask of khushu', I ask of submissiveness, I ask of humility. And this is the Messenger of Allah sallallahu alaihi wasallam. I ask you of that in what? In my privacy and in the open. And that's the believer, private and open. And most of us in private, we're corrupted. Corrupted. Openly, we can, some of our corruption showing, but not too much. We can hide it, but it's a very plastic form. And cracks under pressure. So we need to actually change that, brothers and sisters. That was the good side. Now, we have to become righteous people, but not self-righteous. You want to change? You have to become righteous people. You cannot become self-centered. One guy said he's walking around. Let me use these words that they keep throwing. I am a Sufi. So why are you walking with so much arrogance? Aren't you supposed to be humble? I'm a Salafi. The Salaf were very humble. Why are you so arrogant? Why don't we just say we are Muslims and we're trying to adhere to the book of Allah and the Sunnah of His Messenger? Now everyone is backbiting and hitting each other. I'm going to expose that masjid, that's a Wahhabi masjid. Oh, I'm going to expose that masjid, that's a Sufi tariqah. For Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala's sake, if you see your brother's kids who are actually in suffering and dying, you would never call them these names. But because we have so much time to play with, so much time, and you have hard-hearted people amongst all of the sects. All of them. Sufis, Salafi, Khalafi, everyone you see hard-heartedness. I've had some very nice people from all, and I actually judge everyone according to what they know, according to the book of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. There was one very nice sheikh, he was from Saudi, Sheikh Muhammad al-Ghamdi, and he had a very long beard. I think I've said that before. Very long beard. So I remember one of the old stories that the sheikh was disturbed. He was disturbed because one of his students asked, and this was an old story, he said, Sheikh, when you sleep at night, what do you do with your beard? Is it over the blanket or under the blanket? So the Sheikh, he went to sleep that night and he couldn't figure out what he did with his beard, so he couldn't sleep the whole night. So when I saw the Sheikh, he's such a lovely Sheikh, you know, very, very humble, very, you know, he was wanting to make da'wah. We had 80 shahada in one little room long time ago. So he was so excited, he went to the window and got one guy, Mr. Rapper, who was playing ball. He said, I want to tell you about Islam. I said, Sheikh, it doesn't work like that. No, I want to communicate. I said, it doesn't work like that. And the guy said, what do you say, man? And come in, I will tell you about Islam. Have some kapsa or whatever. So the problem is, when I saw him, I said, Sheikh, when you sleep at night, is your blanket over or under? He said, yeah, I never really thought about that. So you can have very nice people from all backgrounds and who actually understand the book of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. You don't have this problem. When you have this problem with people of lack of knowledge and hard-heartedness, so you can call yourself anything you want, but if your heart is hard, if you don't have knowledge, then you become people of just badgering each other. He's kafir, he's this, he's that, he's this. And we need to stop that because there's major problems out there. We need to deal with the youth. I told one brother, I said, Akhi, are you drunk? He was fighting over a very small thing that would not invalidate anything. I said, have you drinking some wine or something? He said, A'udhu Billah, how can you tell me that? I said, because you're talking nonsense. Because the kids are actually going downtown, they're doing all these things. Some of us have AIDS. Muslim kids have AIDS. Sisters have pregnancy that they want to abort because the father would not allow and she would be excommunicated. Won't allow it. You name it the story. I'm not trying to make it graphic, but there's much worse than that. And it's happening. So we need to actually change. So not become self-centered and bragging. We have to become devout. Not just devout for ourselves, for our movies, hobbies, jobs, studies. We need to become devout human beings. That you care for your neighbor. I told my neighbor that, I'll be going for a little while. I won't be here. And she was in distress. She said, where are you going